All right, I'm the Flat Rate Master. Today, we're talking wrenches. So yes, we're talking wrenches today. I did a video a little while ago kind of teasing this video. I've compiled a bunch of wrenches and we're going to compare them. In this video is part one. We're going to compare how it just feels in the, turning it in my hand on both the open end and the box end. We're going to test them in another video, but we're going to compare a whole bunch of 17mm wrenches from US made to Taiwanese. I don't think I have any Chinese, maybe, but we're going to see how they compare to each other. All right, so we're going to do just a quick demonstration of fitment on a new bolt, comparing all these wrenches. So first off, we've got Stahlwheel. Probably mispronouncing that. It's a German-made wrench. And on the box end side, pretty tight. A little bit of slop, but nothing major. On the open end, same deal. It is pretty tight. Old school Craftsman, vintage. It's a drop looser. A little tighter actually on the open end than the German one. Next up, Ghidorah. Now I actually own this brand. Well, obviously I own all these wrenches, but I actually use Ghidorah on a daily basis. One of the things I like about them is how thin they are. On the box end side, it's relatively tight, a little tighter than the Stonewall, and about even on the open end side. Next up, we have a Taiwanese company called JTC, and Taiwanese made. It is a little bit looser on the box end, nothing horrible. On the open end, pretty decent. Next up, we have the Milwaukee on the open end. Not bad, not the tightest. On the open end with teeth, a little more movement on that than some of the other ones. All right, next up we have Tecton. And on the box end side of it, we got a good bit of movement on that one. It's a little looser than everything else. Same on the open side. Nothing horrible, but it's looser. Next, we got Capri. Now, if you actually look at these two wrenches, my bet is before trying this out, they're made at the same plant in Taiwan. About the same on the box end, and on the open end, about the same, a little loose. Next up, we have an American-made Cornwell. Pretty tight. There's a little bit of play, but nothing horrible. On the box end, it is pretty tight. All right, next one is one everybody has requested, and that is the right grip. Made in the USA. So on the box end of it, it's actually really tight. One of the tighter ones I've checked. On the open end, it has the right grip teeth on it. A little bit looser than some of the other ones, but it's got those teeth to dig in. All right, next one up is American-made SK. On the box end, it is really tight. Not horribly tight, not like you can't get a bolt on there, but it is definitely tighter tolerances than most of the other ones here. On the open end side, average on the open end. Definitely the box end is probably the best so far by feel. All right, next we have Hazit. However you want to pronounce it. Again, I'm probably butchering these German brands, but it is a German wrench. And pretty dang tight on the box end. On the open end, pretty decent. Not the tightest, not the loosest. Next up, we have a US-made Matco wrench. Now this is US-made. This is no longer available new. The current line of Matco wrenches is made in Taiwan, but this is new old stock. So this is made by Armstrong. Box end is average. On the opened end, actually one of the tighter ones of the box ends. All right, next up we have gear wrench. And judging by the opened end, it is probably Taiwanese manufacturer, even though it doesn't say it. So I can't guarantee that, because you can buy Taiwanese or Chinese made gear wrench. On the box end, it's about even with these two for some reason. I'll let you infer the reason. On the opened end, it is about the same. All right, next up, now I'm handicapping Snap-on a little bit on this one, because this wrench is used. It has been used for 20 plus years. So keep that in mind. On the box end, it's pretty tight. Still pretty tight after all these years. Nowhere near the worst, not the best, but nothing wrong with that. On the opened end, it's a little bit loose on the opened end, but it does have the teeth. This is a Flank Drive Plus with the teeth. So, all right. Next up is a Taiwanese from Williams. I couldn't get a US made Williams that I could find and get it here. So on the box end, it's actually pretty tight. On the opened end, again, pretty tight. Kind of impressed. Taiwanese manufacturer right there. All right, next one is Proto. Now, I kind of messed up on this one. It is a 6-point, not a 12-point. So it's going to be a little bit skewed on that fact. But I couldn't seem to find a 12-point Proto. A lot of guys swear by 6-point wrenches, you know, especially they got those guys up in the Rust Belt. So on the box end, it's pretty tight. Not the tightest, not the loosest, but definitely usable. Again, made in the USA. On the box end, kind of sloppy actually. Now obviously I'm doing this by feel, not. Now the last two I'm going to do out of order. This is the new Mac Precision Torque. This is an imported wrench. This is not US made. So they've got a weird offset on the box end. On the weird box end, average tightness on the fastener. On the opened end, a little sloppy. All right, the US made Mac knuckle saver. Now if you notice, close to the Proto, but not identical. They go the other way, so they're obviously using different presses for these to forge them. So on the US made Mac, pretty tight on the box end. On the opened end, average. It does have the teeth. Again, everything I've noticed about a wrench with teeth means they're a little bit looser. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for guys that wrench, but it seems to be a trend. Now, I'm using to judge these, and again, take it as a grain of salt, because obviously I'm not putting any torque on it, a brand new 8.8 17 millimeter head bolt, and I just put a nut on it so I can have something to hold. Now, some of the things that I'd like to point out about some of these various wrenches. Most of these, the heads are about the same thickness, meaning if you go in a box end, they're about the same. The two exceptions are the Milwaukee and the OG Craftsman. Both of these are about the same thickness as far as, you know, how thick the jaws are. To give you a comparison, the Snap-on, on comparison between the Milwaukee and the Snap-on is thinner. Thicker might not be bad in most circumstances because obviously more mass means it's less likely to open up or break. Thin comes in really handy. The big ones on that are going to be Stallenwheel and Ghidorah are both the thinnest as far as the heads. So they're a lot more likely to get into tighter spots with low clearance, along with the JTC. Now, one of the main reasons I have a set of Ghidorah wrenches is because of that right there. When I have to do rear brakes on cars where the pin is, you have to hold it with a wrench to keep it from spinning, I use my set of Ghidorah wrenches because they are thin and pretty stout. So even if they're really tight, I can hold it and I can spin out the bolt. But that's the big comparison of these wrenches. All right, so on part 2 of this video, my initial plan was to take a 17 millimeter bolt, a nut, a vise, and a pipe, and repeatedly try to break either the bolt or the wrench. Well, unfortunately, in my testing, nothing spectacular happens. I wind up stripping out the nut, or stripping out the bolt / nut, and it just winds up keep turning and turning and turning. So I've got to come up with a different strategy, either a softer bolt or something like that to try to test these, because at this point they're all going to look the same more or less. So I don't want to do that, so I got to figure out a plan B on trying to get some carnage, which is what I want. I want to see some wrenches break. I mean, they're all warranted, so I want to see them break. So I got to figure out something to get them to break. So I'm going to work on that. Got any suggestions? leave them in the comments because I'm willing to take some advice on this one. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, i.e. part 2, subscribe. Make sure to hit that bell notification to get notified when I put out new videos. Comments, let me know what you think I should do to test these. Again, my idea didn't work, so let me know in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.